We're almost ready to go. We have 5 laps ahead of us here at Watkins Glen Raceway. We had a dramatic sprint and I'm sure about to witness some more drama on this fast and flowing circuit. We're set and ready to go and the race will begin in 3 beeps time. Sunny goes nowhere off the line and Miko immediately gets past Sunny as the car's now barreled towards the first corner and it's Avery still in the lead. Miko is right there as it's up to 4 wide at the back of the field and Miko has the lead into the first corner. Avery now down into second. Oscar almost past him and he is past him. Avery down into third in the first corner and he looks like he's got him back past Oscar in the S's. Yes he has, but there's plenty of battles further back. Through the S's we go and cars everywhere making moves. Pinstriker there getting past Blurry and into 8th and he's now up 4 positions at the start of this race and it looks like he's also gotten past Wizard there and Avery has just gone around the outside of Miko back into the lead of this race and Miko has still her nose in the inside into the chicane and Avery will lead us through plenty of battles through the field and Sunny has hit the back of Oscar and he's off and he tumbles down the field as yet another incident occurs in this chicane. A very dangerous corner, you can see him there. Sunny looks like he's done and out of the race and Avery now under pressure from Miko heading around the outer loop and Avery will retain the lead though, but Miko is right there with him, hunting him down for that first ever win. Both drivers having won 1 sprint each but never a main race as Pinstriker almost loses it through that corner there. Many crashes have happened in this corner. It's proven very difficult over the weekend in the sprint race especially as we now head around the later stages of the lap and battles still happening everywhere in the race. And there's that Wizard dropping down the order. He must have run into some trouble somewhere in the lap. But now Burning has a brilliant run on Pinstriker and is up the inside. Now Lodiek's also trying to get into the mix as they head into the corner. And Pinstriker breaks later than both of them and will keep 6th position for the meantime. But it is not over yet. And there's Blurry and Bones also trailing this pack here as Lodiek has a look up the inside. But Burning able to get back into 7th position and hold him off for the meantime. But Lodiek's again having another look through this corner, unable to get past. And now Burning up the inside of Pinstriker. No, he's not quite there to make that move. It looked as though he was, and now Lodiek's on the back of Burning, heading down the starting straight for the second lap of this race, and it's been a spectacular opening lap so far. But the battling continues between these 3 drivers. Still no position change, but plenty of overtaking. They're all off into corner 1. This might get messy as they try to rejoin the track into the fast-paced S's, and now Blurry is in the mix, and Lodiek's is past Burning. He's now right behind Pens, and oh, that's a massive crash. Both cars out, Burning and Lodiek's, and the red flag called immediately. A heavy impact into the barrier for both drivers, and we have our 3rd red flag of the weekend here at Watkins Glen as the racing is neutralized once again, and for the 3rd time Burning is involved in a red flag inducing incident and is surviving it. He tries to rejoin the track now and his car is very much damaged, but he'll be able to repair it in the interval between the start and the red flag. So here's his onboard now rejoining the track after they all went off, and he has found some space on the outside, but Lodiek's comes charging over and then swipes right across his nose quite violently. So Lodiek's might be looking at a penalty for this incident. We now watch his onboard, and he had massive gaining speed on both of them, and he almost runs into the back of Pinstriker, and that's why he made the move. Perhaps braking would have been a smarter way to avoid running into the back of Pinstriker, but his actions have cost both Burning and Lodiek's races, and so I doubt he'll be able to escape a penalty for that one. A tough situation to be put into, but it hasn't ended well for him. And here is Wizard earlier on, and this is lap 1, and this is what happened to him. He goes straight into the barrier. Looks like he lost steering or brakes or something there. Not his fault, some sort of failure, and we're back on the grid, ready to start this race once again. We're on the way once again, and it's a horrible start for Bones, who stalls on the grid, but Avery retains the lead heading into corner 1, this time fending off Miko as Oscar makes moves at the back of the pack. Heading through the first corner, the drivers make it through cleanly. Oh, and Pens bumps over the curbs, and he's spun around, and Burning almost runs into yet another driver, but escapes that one. And Pinstriker had a brilliant race up until now, but he is at the back of the field after that one, and one mistake can undo it all as we head through the S's now. Bones making a move on Burning a bit further back in the pack, and he gets past cleanly through the S's and overtaking hotspot so far this weekend. Burning right with him still. Oh, but Miko and Apex for second and third are side by side through the chicane, and Miko keeps that position from Apex, but that was very close there, and Avery so far is looking strong as Oscar looks up the inside of Apex and he goes wide, but keeps his foot in, and he'll be ahead for the next corner, but Oscar is right there and they almost touch as they go through. Avery taking the inside line and keeping ahead of the Colombian who goes into the grass. Oscar driving the absolute limit out of this car as he tries to get past Apex for third position. Blazin now feeling the pressure from Blurry, who is right on his tail as well, as they head around the final corner to start the fourth lap of this race here on the Bones Racing YouTube channel. And Blazin feeling the need to drive a defensive line heading towards the first corner. Blurry on the racing line and into the braking zone. Blazin keeps ahead, but only just as Blurry makes it side by side, heading towards the S's now. Blazin will have the inside for the first corner, but then will swap back to Blurry, and there's a mistake from Apex further up the road, and Oscar gets by, and then Blurry here also getting past Blazin and securing fifth position in the race. Moves all around the field, and now Apex feeling pressure from his fellow cousin Blurry, and he gets past on the straight, and so does Blazin. It's been a shocking couple of corners for Apex, who drops from third to fifth, and he's spun in the chicane. He goes right around. Burning and Blazin will be coming through soon, so we better get going quickly. There they are. And Bones also has a spin right behind Burning, unfortunately losing that spot earlier on. And Miko through the first corner getting a bit squirrely. Oh, and what was that? Has he hit the back of Avery? I think he might have. Is he in the wall? As he comes around and he's got big damage to that car and he can't steer it. And he's into the wall again in a big way, and he'll slide down the middle of a track. The dream is over for Miko. That's a very dangerous position, but on the final lap with only a couple more cars to come past, they won't call a red flag for this one. The car's barely dodging him around the blind corner, and he's sitting right on the apex, but surely that means that Avery has gotten the victory sealed now. Avery, who now will come around the final couple of corners. He qualified first. He was at the back of the sprint grid. He passed all of the cars to win the sprint, and today he will fend off all of the drivers to win the race. The first time that someone has done that in a sprint race, and he'll be the first to win back-to-back in the same weekend. Avery comes around the final corner of Watkins Glen as the champion of this track and the winner of this race. Avery wins in Watkins Glen. Oscar comes home in second. Blurry gets a double podium in third. Blazin will come home fourth. Apex will have to settle for fifth, and Burning there will finish ahead of Bones in their little battle. He'll get sixth position. A tough weekend for Bones, but still an okay result in both the sprint and the race. He'll come home in seventh, and then Prince Striker will cross the line in eighth, and Miko will not finish the race in ninth. Avery becomes the sixth driver to win a race in the series in a perfect weekend, and he'll finish ahead of Oscar, who hasn't had the easiest time, but importantly, he has finished ahead of Blurry and Blazin, his two closest championship protagonists. And then Apex will get fourth there, 12 points for him, a nice decent points haul. Burning also scores a good load of points, and then Bones there and Pen Striker also getting a handful. Miko unfortunately crashing right at the end there. He had driven a brilliant race and deserved more than the 2 points that he'll receive. And then Wizard there also gets 1 point due to Lodiax receiving a penalty for the red flag incident that we had earlier. And then Sunny there having a really difficult weekend this time and getting no points in the main race. Oscar still leads the way now, 7 podiums to his name. Blurry joins the club of drivers with 5 podiums, there's now 4 of them. Avery getting over Miko in the standings with his brilliant weekend. That's the only change of position in the top 8 drivers, and there are no changes of position in the bottom half of the standings, but a few drivers pick up a few handy points. Pen Striker bagging a couple, and also Wizard claiming 1 more point to his name. He's now on 28. Well, that's it for today. The story of the series continues with Avery breaking a few records, but that was an absolutely brilliant race weekend. If you haven't seen the sprint, make sure you check it out. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to never miss the next race. And it's going to be an interesting season from here. Until then, goodbye.